The following interview is brought to you by our sponsors. Okay, so if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about the character you play in the film.
So I play Jessie, so I'm the daughter of Clayne and Sepideh, and I'm not very aware of the situation of why my parents are separating and why my dad has left to go move down the street with my grandpa. And so a lot of my frustration goes to my dad, and I get frustrated and mad with him thinking that it's his fault why he's left, why our family's falling apart. So my character, majority of the film, has a lot of anger towards my father.
So when it came to pulling inspiration for this character, where did you pull from?
So I actually grew up without a father. So for me, I had to kind of reach out to friends that have had really rough relationship with friends and had to research it, because I've never really had a relationship with a father before. So I definitely had to do lots of research into it. And Clayne is such an amazing, sweet person that I had to really in-tune how to have those frustrations and angers towards him.
So did you find any kind of difficulties with the role, in the sense of, yes, you're pulling from the fact that you have a life history of not having a father. Was there any challenges that you felt in this film as you were filming?
Yeah, challenges that I felt, of course, like I said, with Clayne being such a sweet guy, I really had to get into character and become Jessie and understand her situation, her frustrations, and why she thought her dad was the bad guy. So I think the ultimate was just coming up with who I am and who Jessie was and mashing them together.
Well, there's going to be a lot of youth that see this film that may be experiencing the same situation. What would you tell them as what they can pull away from this film?
100%, your emotions are valid and what you're feeling, don't be ashamed of. It's totally okay. Be able to communicate with your parents and anyone around you, and don't bottle up your feelings. It's better to get it out and talk and get help.
So what was it about this script that drew you, that you had to play this part?
A lot of reasons. I wanted to work with Clayne and Chris, and I was intrigued by Robert and the work that I'd seen of his, and his script is brilliant. But I also was just so drawn to Nikki and this woman who kind of is such a symbol of what, I don't mean to sound too grand or anything, but like what as women we're going through right now in time is realizing the inequality and seeing that it's unjust, and growing out of that, breaking out of that, and yet feeling a sense of responsibility to stay small in order to keep the people and the love that we have in our lives right now. So Nikki is in a situation where she's growing and aspiring to live and realize her dreams beyond what she knows, and in doing that she's hurting the people she loves most. And so there's a real conflict there, because it's not that they're having marriage problems because they don't love each other, because it's just like they're incompatible completely. There are lots of ways in which they're very compatible, and yet this way it's a major factor of incompatibility.
So Chris, you're the other guy.
That's
you're
right.
The other guy in the film. But you have mentioned before that you don't see him as a bad person. Explain that to us.
Yeah, I think that just like the other two characters, he's just trying to find love or happiness, and we're all in a different phase of that pursuit. David is trying desperately to get back the happiness that he knows he had. Nikki is searching for a new happiness that she feels like has been voided somehow in her life. And I'm like taking my first real swing at love. Like, I think that Nikki might be the one.
Look, you're dealing
I don't think any of us are wrong in those pursuits. I think that I love that they were brave enough to tell a story where you can choose the perspective that you take when you watch this film, and it might be easy to be like, oh, this guy's the homewrecker, or Nikki, is being disloyal to her marriage, or David didn't do enough to keep her happy. But in reality, like, we're all human beings, and we don't all have the answers, and we're all just doing our best to try and figure out what makes this beat right. And it's okay if you misstep here and there, in that pursuit.
So when it comes to, because there's a lot of people that have not experienced the messiness of divorce, where did you draw your inspiration for your character and kind of, placing yourself into the situation?
Right. Well, what made it to where it was easy for me to connect was that he's new to the dynamic, just like I would be. I've been married for 10 years, and I'm more experienced on their side, kind of. Like, I can tell you that marriage is messy and that it's not always easy, and that you kind of choose each other every day and figure that out. But with the character that I play in the movie, there's even a point where I say I'm new to this dynamic, and so it made it easy for me to just lean into that, because I would be new to it as well. And again, he's not really concerned with their dynamic. As far as he's concerned, Nikki has chosen him, and they're starting something fresh, and he's going to protect that. He really loves this woman. And David's the guy that lost her. It's not really, like I said, it's not really his concern.
Yeah. So, with the camaraderie of the cast, how was it working on the film?
Oh, so good. We were all buddies ahead of time, sort of. Me and Clayne worked on Lethal Weapon together. Me and Seppi worked on The Deuce together for 3 years. And they didn't know each other until they started doing this, but he called me and was like, do you want to come do this? We've got this lovely, incredibly talented woman named Seppi playing, and I was like, that's my girl, that's my friend, like, let's go. And on The Deuce, we hadn't had a lot of opportunities to interact on screen, and so we were both excited to get that chance. And I love working with Clayne, so that was an easy yes. And we all vibe really well on set, so.
Tell us a little bit about the character that you're playing and how you drew your inspiration to play him.
Well, at the time we made this film, inspiration. I had gone through something just before I made this film, and I had felt kind of betrayed in a way, and I wanted to take that energy and the sadness and some ill-gotten money that I had received and try to turn it into something really positive. And Robert and I had been wanting to work together for about 10 years, and he sent me this short, and I was like, oh, that's really intriguing. And I was like, what do you think if we kind of turn this into a feature? And as we started building this feature, and Robert kind of started writing it out, I just knew the guy. As a father with 3 children myself, I can't imagine my wife and I separating.
Said that it's okay to so they're doing that, but they're trying to navigate.
I didn't expect. That's crazy.
This sort of conflict in their marriage and this.
Okay, if he's getting emotional, can I get emotional?
That's crazy. Yeah. So I can't imagine not having my kids every day. So it was, this is stupid. Forgive me. So I drew my inspiration quite honestly, as you can see, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was a very easy role to kind of step into, for sure.
Well, I can personally say, we just found out the premise of this film, so it hits close to home.
I feel like a lot of people, right? Yeah. If you haven't divorced someone that you love, you've seen people who had to separate, and you know that there was that love there at one time, and that's what's interesting about this piece, is that there's no traditional villain. There's everyone's trying to do the right thing. But sometimes you get to a point where you can't communicate any longer, or the communication is all about the truth. I cannot believe I'm going to say that I'm on cold medicine like Will Ferrell, or it was Tom Hanks said the other night at the Golden Globes, and I'm going to blame that on my emotion. So we've witnessed it, and it's so heartbreaking, and I think that's why this piece is so special, is because everyone can relate to it, whether it's the children or it's Nikki's character, which is this beautiful lady Sepideh. Again, everyone is going into just wanting to find happiness, and sometimes it's at the expense of others, which is heartbreaking. Yeah.